Welcome back to another edition of the 2020 Radio, hosted by yours truly, John Rowley and Jeremy Whiteford, where each Wednesday we share a new episode with the simple goal of helping you become the best version of yourself. In this week's episode, we talk about why it took me, and this will be the final take, 30 takes to try to record this intro, and we're blaming it on a little bit of sickness. We're going to help you figure out how to not get sick, how to increase your baseline of health, improve your sleep, get you away from sugar, etc. We cover a bunch of different topics. That's all I'm going to give you. Enjoy the show. We'll see you next week. That cough is like the perfect lead-in to what we're here to talk about today, and it is sickness. So the topic that is on top of my mind is I am sick right now. Okay, and by my standards.
Yes.
Okay. Not by conventional standards. By conventional standards, I'm like doing just fine. But so anyway, long story short, what we're here to talk about today is the importance of building robust health so that your sick is still productive.
Yes, your sick is better than. I think it's even cool, like, to think that your sick right now can be considered better than some people's normal health.
Correct.
Yes, and like,
which is scary.
Which is very scary because then people who, I mean, if you get sick, then it's really like, or you get sick a lot.
So what I'm trying to think of, or the way I'm trying to explain this is, we're trying to build a buffer. So when we look at like health and wellness, so from last week Thursday, I kind of had a little sinus infection, and I'm blaming it on overdoing it on coffee, kind of the last month, not sleeping a bunch, like really beating myself up, and kind of burning the candle on both ends. And like last Thursday, I kind of started to get stuffy. Friday, I didn't feel awesome. Worked all day Friday, like 12 or 14 hours or whatever. Worked 6 or 7 hours Saturday. Sunday, didn't feel great, but had plenty of energy to do everything I needed to do. And so it just kind of lingered on for 4 or 5 days. There's been no real detriment to my daily life. Aside from what I mentioned to you this morning, I'm not able to work out. Or not really I'm not able to work out, but I know I shouldn't.
Yeah, or you're not going to come in, and it's not like you're going to come in and do an open workout.
No, so you saw me today. I just did like the last 7 minutes of the workout with like a couple dumbbells and just kind of played around. So that to me is my definition of my baseline, like sick. So I don't miss any work. I don't miss any family time. I just don't feel awesome, and I don't have that extra gear to do the fun things that I want to do, the extracurriculars.
I totally agree. And I was thinking, like, I'll say this all the time, like, and Debbie will tell me it's funny because I'll be like, I don't get sick, right? Because I don't take off work to get. Once you are sick when you go to take off work.
Yeah,
and that's what the only time I've been sick here was when I got shingles.
You got a disease.
When I was like crippled by a shingle thing, and that's the only time that I consider myself being sick. Other than that, Debbie would be like, "Well, you get colds and you get stuff like that." I'd be like, "That's not. I'm not."
No, those should bounce off of you.
They
should be like a rain jacket where they just kind of flick off.
Okay, they might slow me down a little bit, but it's not going to prevent me from doing anything.
Yeah. So with this whole conversation, we're the point or the carrot that we're trying to lead people to is just to be robustly well, so that your sick is still productive. We sent out a survey a while back about asking people the number of sick days, and a very high percentage, I think it's like 30 or 40% of our clients don't take a sick day. So that's
huge.
I mean, that's gigantic. If you look, I don't know what the statistics are. You could Google them. Charlie's going to Google them. Yeah. I mean, we're going to find out here in a second, but they're ridiculous. You shouldn't be taking sick days. So when we talk about like health, wellness, fitness, you're building this robust buffer. The reason to get ridiculously fit is so you've got a buffer when things go wrong.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You're going to get worn out. You're going to have a couple nights in a row where you don't get a good night's sleep. You're going to get exposed to somebody who has the flu, and your immune system is going to get hit from all these different directions, and then you're going to eat poorly. Can you handle it? And the way I think about it is like, how thin of ice are you on?
Yeah.
And if you're on really thick ice because you eat pretty darn healthy, you typically get good sleep. And then you have a weekend where you get after it, you're going to be able to bounce that off a lot quicker than somebody who's already on thin ice.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Know what is your thin ice.
So how do you know you're getting sick?
Yeah, I know
when you need to dial it back.
Yeah, when I start feeling overly tired, right? So not just normal tired, like when I start feeling exhausted, where I'm like, I need sleep, but I'm not able to. You never feel like you're catching up. That's one of my big indicators. Like, all right, if I don't sleep more tomorrow, I know I'm going to feel something in my throat. If
so that's the first sign?
Sneezing.
Tickling. Okay.
Sneezing. If I start sneezing and ain't no dust around, I can tell you within 2 or 3 days, if I don't get some sleep, I'm going to get sick. Like, it's just one of those things that I've probably brought to awareness or brought attention to myself over the last, being alive for however long I have been alive.
Like 30 years.
But I know I don't normally sneeze. So when I do sneeze, I know something's happening. Okay, I better get some sleep. I analyze what I've been doing over the last week. Man, I haven't gotten any sleep. I haven't really taken a break off any of my workouts. If I'm not careful, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? I also get a little swollen underneath here.
Right.
Right? Little swollen just in the throat. And if I'm not careful, that's another thing. But a lot of times it relates back to, what does my sleep look like? Like, am I, like you always say, burning candle at both ends? If I start, like, going really hard in workouts and I'm not taking care of myself and I'm doing other things, or I'm stressed out of my brains, and then I stop sleeping and I can never catch back up, then I know, without a shadow of a doubt,
things are
I've had to learn to say no to things. So, like, hey, say there's an early morning workout some point in time, and someone's like, hey, can you come work out at 4:30 in the morning or 5:15 in the morning on a day that I have to get sleep? I have to know, if I choose to do that, I'm choosing to be out for the next week, sickness-wise.
Right.
Like, not out. My out is not going as hard as I possibly can inside of a workout. Yeah. What are yours?
For me, it's the chapped lips. I know I used to get it like almost every single Friday. I used to have chapped lips, which is I knew I'd be burning chapped lips, and I had to survive or make it through the weekend. So chapped lips are one. Two is that little tickle in the back of my throat. I get those. It's always kind of related to the week. Thursday or Friday, I'd get that little tickle in the back of my throat. Know that I have to dial it back in. And kind of more recently is if I'm sore. Like if my body is really sore, it's a little overtaxed.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like legs are sore, abs are sore, that kind of stuff. But if I feel sore in the joints, or like just kind of systemically sore,
yeah,
I gotta dial it back. And that's kind of what I had late last week. I was just really sore, and I couldn't really figure out what I had done. So that's where I kind of put the stop on. So like I didn't work out Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Just let it ride, and now I'll be back.
Now you very well could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you very well could have, but and I think
I had my Murph gear set out, and I was Brittany the night before. She's like, "You're not going to do Murph, are you?" Which means, when you translate that, means if you do Murph, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
So she says it really sweet, like lobs me a softball, and I'm like, "No, you're right. I'm not going to."
Yeah.
And she didn't really believe it, but so I woke up, and as I'm getting ready, I'm like, "I'm going to do Murph. I'm going to do Murph," and then I was like, "I don't feel good," and that type of workout is going to deplete the tank.
Oh yeah, it's going to, especially if you're already empty, you're going to take out the reserves.
So in years past, I probably would have done it, and it would have wiped me out, like you said, for days afterwards.
And that's one thing you got to ask the question is, are you willing to reduce your effectiveness over the following week because of one thing?
I should show you this text. I don't have my phone. I got a text this morning, and the person says, "Hey, what's your opinion on working out when you feel under the weather? I've got a sore throat." And I go, "My opinion is, if you get paid to work out, you got to work out.
Yeah.
If you don't get paid, you need to go to bed. Like, you need to sleep it off."
Yeah. Sleep it off. I think working out doesn't necessarily always mean the workout of the day.
Right.
Like coming in and just
go for a walk,
coming in, and even just, if you're sick and like you're passing on stuff, don't be coming in.
Yeah, stay away.
Yeah, stay away. But if you're feeling like, hey, I can come in, hop on the bike, cruise. I think we've said this so many different times in different ways. Hey, come in the bike and cruise. Hey, just hop on the skier. And I think fewer percentage than I'd like take us up on it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'd rather you show up, and even if you just pedal, you'll probably feel better, get the blood flowing, moving around a little bit, like you did today.
Yeah.
You came in, you could still move, but you didn't go as hard as you wanted.
I didn't want to break a sweat. I did 10 burpees fast, and that was like my workout. Everything else, I was just kind of pacing through it. So I think to summarize this first part is like, know your triggers. Know like what it is. Is it a cold sore?
Yeah.
You know, do you get a cold sore every now and again? And what comes after a cold sore typically? Is it a sneeze? Is it chapped lips? You know, to me, it's like I start to feel dehydrated, and you know, my lips feel dry, and I don't feel full. You know, tank doesn't feel full. So kind of know what your signal is, and pay really close attention to it and respect it.
Yeah.
Because something worse is coming after that. So now we're talking about like your signal, but how do you stay? So you said, you know, and I'm in the same boat. I've never taken a sick day. So knock on wood, we keep that going. I think I've gotten lucky. Like my sick days might have fallen on a weekend or like where things actually fell off the rails.
Yeah.
But I haven't had to, and you know, same for you. Aside from the disease that you had, how do you maintain that?
Sleep. For me, it's making sure that I get enough sleep, hydration, eating clean, or for me, clean-ish, 80-20.
Yeah.
And then being aware of my body when I'm working out, right? So knowing when to go hard, when to not go hard, being in tune. This sounds really weird. Being in tune with how you feel, right? So say there's a day, and you know, for those that have whoops or have some other kind of HRV measuring shenanigan that tells you you're red, yellow, or green, good to go, I kind of look at those and say if I'm yellow, if I go really, really hard, it's going to take me, I'm just making up numbers, 3 days to recover. Say green day, I can go really, really hard, and I'm going to recover the next day.
Back, yeah.
Red day, I go really, really hard, it's going to take me a week to recover. Or I start sliding down a slippery slope, right? So you can use it as, that can be a day that I only breathe through my nose. Or I will try and plan my week to be, okay, I know I have time here. I'm going to go really, really hard. And I know I'm saying this in relation to workouts, but we all come here to work out. So you can kind of, you know, base it around that.
I think it could be for a long day. If you know you're going to be in the office for 12 hours, so you've got back-to-back meetings, and then you jump on an airplane.
Yeah. Look at that as a hard day, right? If you have a less easier day, then you can vary your week. But if you go like this across your entire week, and you don't get sleep.
He's painting a high line right now.
Yeah, there's a high line.
Hands over his head.
Yeah. If you have a like high line all week, then you don't take care of yourself for cover. You don't stay hydrated. You don't eat well. You don't sleep. I mean, inevitably,
bad things are going to happen.
I mean, bad thing. And if you're not in tune with, you know, what you're feeling, then something has to give. It's inevitable. And so I try and vary my week. So if I know I'm getting a little bit of sleep, I'm only going to breathe through my nose. If I know that if I got good sleep and I'm feeling good, I'm going to plan on going as hard as I can, especially if I'm feeling green. Yeah, let it rip. But being okay with not unless you're willing to, suffer the consequences.
Yeah, and I'll take this. So I have the same exact approach when it comes to training. Now, when it comes to nutrition, the more sleep I'm getting, the more leeway I have with my food. Mm-hmm. Okay, so and stress in general. So if I'm low stress and I'm getting good sleep, I can kind of get away with murder. Yeah, like I can eat kind of anything I want. I stay gluten free basically to keep my gut from getting rocked, but I can kind of get away with anything. Now, if I add stress, I've got to decrease carbs. Okay, because my cortisol is all jacked up, my insulin levels are high, and that's just going to get turned into fat. So what I try to do is, if my stress levels are high, and stress equals low sleep. So if you're getting low sleep, and I don't remember the statistics, but the sensitivity, what's the statistics if you don't sleep for 24 hours, what it does to your insulin sensitivity?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Charlie, look it up.
Yeah, it's significant. So it's like
bigger.
12 or 14%. But anyway, there is a huge cost to getting poor quality sleep, but then the effect is that you're going to crave carbohydrates. So I really try to down-regulate carbs if I'm low on sleep, and then but also if I'm doing really well, I know that's a time for me to enter it. So if you are going to be low on sleep and you are going to be overtraining, you need to training harder than you should given your sleep. You should be down-regulating your carbs and processed
food for sure.
So that's something that if I'm not feeling good, the sugars are gone. No fruit.
Yeah.
Like I stay away from starch. Like give me a day or two to kind of cleanse the system.
Oh, yeah. And if I'm not feeling good and I coming up to a day that I have planned of, like, I'm going to have this bad meal. So people know me. Fridays is usually my bad meal day, right? I will look at that and I'll say, this will not do me well.
Yeah.
Plan it for another day, right? But you have to be willing to say, okay, say no to that. Another thing, preventative, I've been trying to do more of, get back into more of, is going to be more ice and water, cold water.
Do you still take cold showers?
Oh, yeah. So cold showers and but also I'm trying to focus more on my breathing practice right now. So, like, and a breathing practice sounds so...
Until you do it, people,
yeah,
it
sounds crazy, and it sounds like it takes a lot of time, right? But say, if anything, all I'll do is I'll try and do breathe as slow and smooth and soft as possible until I can't do it anymore, right? And it's not something that's like, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 4, right?
So, like breathing, he says breathing practice, and you're like, what does that mean? So today, my breathing practice was, I started with a hot shower today, which I'll probably do once, maybe twice a week. I got in the shower, and the last, I don't know, it might be a minute, it might be 2 minutes. I did 2 breaths. So I took a big inhale, turned the cold all the way down, and I did the longest, slowest exhale I possibly could, which is probably about a minute, and I did it one more time. So that was step number 2, and then, or step number 1. Step number 2 is I sat down at my table. I wanted to get here before 5, so I had 2 minutes. I set a timer, and I took as few breaths as I think it was like 3 or 4 breaths in 2 minutes. Just real conscious, nasal in, nasal out.
Yeah.
Like trying to meditate, just trying to calm things down, out the door.
Yeah.
So that took me, let's count it 2 minutes, because the shower time that doesn't count. It's like 0 time. Well, that was my breath practice so far today.
Yeah, and one thing that helps me is because I have a hard time. So if I'm getting up in the morning and I got a routine the way through. If I sit down and take say 5 minutes to do breathing, I know I'm going to be late here. So what I'll do is I will rather leave early and get to my place of where I'm going, and then sit there for 2 minutes in the parking lot, not while driving, just in the parking lot, already parked, and that's the way you get it in, right? So get somewhere early, and even just if you just slow down your breathing to where, like, the hairs on your nostrils, if you have nose hairs, don't move at all. Like, take in less air than and breathe out. And then before sleep, before I've been going to bed lately, talk about dreams out the wazoo. I've been doing so it might be a minute, it might be 3 minutes, it might be 5 minutes, however long I feel like doing it. I'll take my mouth shut, which is like every single night. Here's a little tip for that. Say your significant other wants to talk to you or something, right? And you don't want to, like, I've been putting the tape on the top of my hand until it's time to go to sleep. And then I'll be like, all right, good night. And then I put it on.
You say that. I put mine on my lamp.
Yeah.
So when I go to turn off the lamp, I don't forget the tape. Because sometimes, the other night I actually forgot it, and it was
worst night sleep.
It was not good. You wake up with a dry mouth.
Yeah. But no, seriously, just put it on the back of your hand.
Nice.
And then it also gets rid of some of the stickiness for when it's on your mouth. And if you have a beard, like I'm growing, 1 inch tape. 1 inch tape works fantastic.
I like the 2 inch tape.
Yeah, 1 inch. But anyways, so I'll go and I'll just got the mouth tape shut. I will lay there on my bed and I will try and same thing, breathe as smooth and slow as possible until there's like a medium desire for air. You'll see this on the Oxygen Advantage. That's the book where I'm getting this from. And go to sleep and I wake up when my alarm goes off. And I will dream probably the entire night. Like, I have so many dreams recently, it's crazy. But that has helped my sleep. So if I know that I'm running low on sleep, I guarantee I will do a little breathing, even if it's like 5 breaths. I mean, that takes all of whatever. That helps tremendously. Yeah, it's helping build up the immune system. It's helping you like down-regulate into you're getting into parasympathetic. You rest and digest. Your job is to get there before you go to sleep.
Right, so you're not going to bed all frantic. Yeah, if you are frantic, you're not going to bed anytime soon.
No, you're not going to bed anytime soon.
Statistic on sick days.
U.S. workers took an average of 14 sick days.
14 sick days?
Oh, that's so bad.
Due to their own illness or injury or care for a
14 sick days is the average.
14.
Guys, that's not acceptable.
Man, I'd rather take 14 health days and go do something with all that.
Yeah, take 14 health days. Do something cool. Wow. I feel like I just got stabbed in the heart.
All right, what did we ask you?
Oh, my gosh. Doesn't have to be that way.
After 4 nights of sleep deprivation, like 4.5 hours of sleep per night, participants' insulin sensitivity was 16% lower.
Wow. So if you sleep 5 hours a night for 4 nights in a row, which is like way too many people that we know, your insulin sensitivity is 60% lower. 16. Okay, that sounds
That's a
still.
little bit better. But also with that, there's another study
That means
showing
your body cannot process sugars the way it's meant to be. So when we talk about metabolic flexibility, part of it is being able to process fats. The other part of it is being able to take sugar in and use it as energy.
Yeah, and that same hour, so 5 hours or
You're gonna
less.
need more and
Say you're
more.
trying to lose body fat, right? So you're trying to lose weight. When you lose weight, generally speaking, you're going to lose some muscle and some fat. You're trying to lose less muscle and more fat, right? So when you're sleeping, I think it's like 7 to 8 plus hours a night. It's 80-20. You lose 80% fat, 20%.
What's it flipped to when you?
It's flipped when you're on 5 hours or less.
Oh gosh.
So you lose way more
Muscle.
than you would fat, which if you're wondering why your body fat increases even though you're losing weight, it's because you don't have any
Which is
muscle.
a really good reason, and I think maybe a way for us to wrap up is to get on the in-body and find out how much muscle you have on you, because the scale is not always going to tell the truth.
No, not at all.
Especially if you're getting poor quality sleep and you're losing weight.
It might not be the weight that you want to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're like, why am I getting weaker? Well, you're losing muscle because you're not sleeping. So sleep has a huge role in both things, and you'll see that you will have one of those things for sleep. Get a point during our June challenge, but.
So yeah, we bounce around a bunch, but you can see we kept coming back to sleep because that's a.
That's where all the money's made.
It really is. So get good sleep and raise the baseline of what sick means to you. I think that's what I want to encourage people, because you should not be taking 14 sick days. Well, let's not do that.
No. And get in tune with your body. Know when you're about to get sick.
And then reel it back.
Yeah.
Reel it back versus pushing yourself too far over the edge. So thank you again, and see you guys next week.